Everyone, I'm Eszter Vajda, joined by Britta Dubbels. Empower Yourself with Britta, our weekly discussion. A great way to get our Monday started. Britta, hello on this chilly and rainy and snowy, crazy Monday.
Hello, Esther. Happy Monday. Hello, everybody who's
Happy
watching.
Monday. Yes, hello. And we pick these topics. Like today, we're going to talk about forgiveness, and we pick these topics just sort of out of the blue, right? Well, today
Okay.
I'm watching the news, Britta, and Nelson Mandela's wife says that he would want the country to learn one big thing, and that is forgiveness.
Amen, sister. Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is just
Mm-hmm.
such a big one. Such a big one. It really is. Hola.
Hola,
Hola.
everyone. So forgiveness. Well, first of all, what is forgiveness, and how do you do it?
Wow. Forgiveness is a very challenging thing to do, and it's not something that happens easily. It's not something that you can just, decide, okay, I'm just gonna forgive. Okay, I forgive you. People sometimes say it, and in that moment they may mean it also,
Mhm.
right? But then there are so many levels to it that if one really truly isn't right about it yet, it comes back up. It comes back up, whether it's the resentment or disappointment, or anger about something. And so, just because we forgive somebody or something doesn't mean we agree with what happened, you know. And I think that that's something very, very, very important to acknowledge about forgiveness. Because whenever I say to somebody, are you ready to forgive this? Often the reaction is, well, what? You know, he did this or she did that, and so it's this immediate defense mechanism that we have built in. Our minds are so programmed to either put ourselves into the victim mode or to build a case. Yeah? And so oftentimes, when something bad happened, it takes many steps to reach that closure, because that's really what forgiveness is. It's closure.
Mm,
It's letting
mm,
go of holding on to something or somebody on your end. It doesn't mean you
mm,
agree. It doesn't mean you make it okay. It doesn't mean you have to be best friends again. But it means you are letting go. You are saying, okay, I'm going to let myself get free of
mm,
this. Because really, when we're holding on to stuff, we're getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And
mm.
so that's what Mrs. Mandela was referring to, right? Because so many people are so angry. So many people have so much inside of themselves. And it's just years and years and years of buildup of injustice, of disappointments, of hard lives. And, so there's a lot to work through for many people.
Ron says, "Hey, Britta, sometimes it's building a defense wall by attacking someone else."
Yes,
True?
yes, yes, yes. Very true. Absolutely. Um, when we attack somebody else, we immediately close our hearts, right? So oftentimes it's much easier to just point the finger, build a defense, blame somebody else, right? Rather than us looking deeper, going deeper, taking responsibility for ourselves, staying open through the heart and saying, okay, even though this experience was really rough, and I felt this and I felt this and I felt this, I want to play with the possibility of letting it go. It
Mm,
takes so much more strength and so much more courage to do that than to just go back into good old defense or attack mode.
mm. You know, I
Mm.
went to a wedding recently, and
Mm.
it was a Jewish and Catholic wedding. So there was a priest and a rabbi, and they
Interesting.
kept it there. It was very good. But one of the many interesting things that happened, there was the priest said there are 6 words that will save your marriage. The first 3 are, I am sorry. And the next 3 are, you are forgiven.
Oh, that's
How beautiful is that?
beautiful. That's very beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. I think that that's very true. I was reading an article very recently, and it was about true love. And so in the article it said how, we have these expectations or these ideas about true love, and we dream about that everything is going to be perfect with this perfect person, and everything is always going to be smooth and easy, and nothing is ever going to happen, right? And it's not true. It's not possible. It's not feasible. No matter how much we're loving or being loved in return, we will get disappointed. We will get hurt, because people, we're all so individual, and somebody that loves you so much, they still have their own character, they still have their own ways, they still have their own moods, and so, they may say something or do something that they don't even mean to, right? That could hurt you or could affect you. But of course, that's only on the lighter scale of being able to let go, right? Because ultimately, let's face it, there are a lot of us that have had really tough experiences, that takes much more to step into forgiveness, you know
Mm.
when there's really, really, really bad stuff or injustice, right? I mean, it takes a lot, and it takes a very big person to understand that you're not doing it for the other person. You're doing it for yourself.
Mm. Let me ask you about the statement people often say, you can forgive, but you will never forget, or you can't forgive, but you shouldn't forget. If the whole idea of forgiveness is
Mm.
to lighten yourself and
Yes.
to, put it behind you, then shouldn't forgiving and forgetting about it and completely putting it out of your system part of it? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that oftentimes there are things that happen that we will not be able to forget. You know, um, I think really big things, traumatic experiences, really hurtful, painful experiences. Um, some people never forget those, and it's really a balancing act, and it's an art to be able to let go of something. But
Mm,
oftentimes, when we don't forget, there's also something for us to learn, right? Um, we will be more cautious or more observing or more protective of ourselves. For example, when we've experienced something, because we learn through experience, right? And so I feel that to forget, um, I don't think we're expected to forget. To forgive
mm,
is one thing, and to let it go, and for us to stop our minds from continuing the story, right? That's really the key. And then if you're lucky, at some point you may forget, but if you don't, I don't think there's anything wrong with that,
yeah.
you know?
Um, you talk, I think for me personally, forgiveness is a process. And I think one point out, I'll say I forgive the person. We say it a lot. We forget, I forgive you, I forgive you. But for me to actually feel it, from my mouth to my heart, it's a huge process.
Mhm,
Walk us
mhm.
through some of the things that you can do, that it's not just talk, it really is in your heart.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So, and it's very true, Esther, and I think it's great that you're bringing that up because it's maybe we have the intention to forgive and we really want to and we really mean it, but to actually feel it, that is the true freedom, right? Because if you're not really feeling it, it's not real, and it's not real. You may want it to be real, but it isn't, right? Until you're really feeling it. And so, in order to really go through the process and go through the levels of forgiveness, I always like to suggest to be able to forgive ourselves because I think that
Mm,
self forgiveness is very important because if we still holding ourselves hostage for things,
mm,
right? If we're not able to set ourselves free and learn from things and use them for our betterment, then to be able to forgive somebody else makes it just so much harder, and so
yeah.
much more impossible. And so to really learn from your mistakes, to really learn and to learn to say I'm sorry and to really take responsibility for ourselves, right? When we said something or done something that wasn't right, um, that really is such a wonderful step into forgiveness. Because when we're able to forgive ourselves, that's
Mm,
when we're able to forgive others much more easily.
mm. But
Mm.
as last week we talked about happiness and the importance of happiness, and that really true happiness within ourselves and with ourselves is the hardest thing. We're all so hard on ourselves and have the negative thoughts going and the negative tapes and all of that. And forgiving yourself, I think, is one of the hardest things to do.
Yes, yes, and it is for many people. It really, really is for many people. And of course there are some people who just cruise over anything and everything, right?
Mhm.
And but that then in itself is it really isn't healthy either because ultimately when we are able to self-observe with the intention of getting better and with the intention of learning, right? And moving forward with a greater sense of understanding of self, right? That is going to cause happiness. It is
Mhm.
because the more we appreciate ourselves and the more we work with ourselves in a positive way, in a supportive way, the happier we will be. Same with forgiveness. When we to learn from our mistakes, when we learn to say, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I said that. I'm really sorry I did that. We actually become happier because we become freer. We become stronger. It's
Mhm.
really amazing, even though that step itself may be harder because we're not used to it. Once we learn to do that, it's like, because we free ourselves. It's wonderful.
Ron says personal growth leads one to examine oneself, but not everyone wishes to do so. And that is so true. And I feel like, like we do with our health and with our cars, with everything,
Yes.
have a little yearly tune-up or biannual tune-up. So important.
Yes, it's so true. Ron, you really hit that nail on the head. Personal growth leads to examine oneself, and not everybody wishes to do so. I think it really is what all of the people that are involved in spiritual growth and self-help and right, all these genres are really trying to work. How do we inspire people to want to care to self-examine and to grow, right? I mean, how does one inspire that interest, that passion? And and I think that that's really the key to it, because once we start doing it, it really becomes this aha experience with the strengthening effects and the freeing effects and the liberation that happens through it. And it is really such a fantastic journey.
Mm.
But
We
yeah.
we have someone who wants to come on screen, and he is new to us. Hi, Marcel.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. There's a little background.
No restrictions.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on this. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can.
Okay. Where are you? Where are you?
Plugology.
Oh, you're listening to the radio station
Oh,
there. Okay, I
that's
got you.
probably-
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Marcel, welcome.
Welcome. Well, thank you.
Where are you?
Hello, Marcel.
I'm in the studio here. No, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas.
Roll those dice.
Do you have a question or comment?
Well, you know what? I'm brand new here, so I guess it would be more under the comment umbrella. I'm brand new to Spreecast, and I heard you guys on, and I was like, wow, that's cool. Empowerment, right? Everybody can use that. And I don't really have a question. I just wanted to make some friends here and kind of listen, and then be on camera if I can. If not, you guys can boot me off, obviously. But just I just wanted to be amongst some really positive and good people, seemingly, anyway.
That's wonderful.
Well,
I love
Marcel,
that. So what do you think about forgiveness?
What do I think about forgiveness? And your microphone is really, really low.
I'll put it up
Is
higher.
it Britta or Brita?
Yes, it's Britta. Britta
Okay.
in German.
Britta, got you. I think forgiveness is great. I think more people should be more forgiving, because it can't do you any, like, how could it actually do you any good to not forgive, right? Like, when you really think about it, like, how can that be beneficial? Like, how, right? It can't be. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing. Now, it being a great thing and wanting to forgive is one thing, and actually having the mental wherewithal to understand the importance of forgiving and being able to forgive is another, right?
But
Very nice, very well said. And and I feel
you.
so strongly about that too. It's such a beneficial thing. It's only beneficial to forgive. And yeah, it may take a little time, but to hold the focus on it and to let go of the story that the mind wants to keep playing, right? That is a big part of it.
Yes, absolutely.
So are
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just get so excited about this whole thing, because it's so incredible to be able to speak with people in real time. Like, I work in radio, so we're the ones who are always talking to the audience, but we never get to hear back from the audience. So I'm like, yes, people, I just think it's great.
now
It's
listen,
great. Yeah.
Marcel, we're here every Monday night with Empower
Okay.
Yourself, and check out brittadubbels.com, and love to have you on here. Last week we had a really good Spreecast. We talked about happiness, but the interesting thing with Britta that happens every week is that from week to week, everything is so interconnected. and
Yeah.
comes around in a
It is.
full circle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, it
Yes.
always is. It always is.
Do you guys have the capability to at all to take phone calls, like to allow people to call in? So, because you know what I think would be great if people were able to, like, while we're all up here, I mean, there are a ton of people down the bottom there who may not want to be on camera, but they may want to say a couple of things, and it would be great if there was a number they could call into, you know, like in radio, right? And then chime in. That would be great too. So.
Okay. All right, Marcel, thank you. And please hang out a little bit longer, and we're going to go for another 7 minutes. But thanks, Marcel. We got Joe.
Hi, Marcel. Thank you.
Joe Colangelo. So nice to see you.
Fantastic.
Wait, we can't see you. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Well,
how are you?
how are you? Well, you know, you say
Very
about
well,
forgiveness, but I have to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
If someone is intentionally out and does you harm, their intent from the beginning was to do you bad. Why would you forgive that person?
Ooh, powerful question.
Well, you know, why wouldn't you? Right?
Because
Why
their
wouldn't
intent.
you? Because
Well, no, wait a minute. The reason why you wouldn't, if someone went to do a favor, let's say, Britta, I meant good to do you a favor, do something good for you, but it got all messed up. And it was probably the worst thing that even your worst enemy couldn't do anything that bad. Well, if someone did that to me, I would say, well, you know, I'd cry about it, but, you know, I couldn't be angry with the person because their intent was honorable right at the beginning. But I have an old saying, and it's this: when someone does bad, what you did to me was wrong. You knew it was wrong before you did it, but you went and did it anyhow. Had I not stopped you at this, how far would you have gone? Now, think about that.
you know, it's what you're saying is very common actually, because I work with people that are facing this choice often. And you know, forgiveness, again, let's look at the definition of forgiveness, right? Forgiveness does not mean you have to agree. Forgiveness also doesn't mean that you now have to take that person in and be best buddies, right? Forgiveness is actually a very clear boundary where you are now able to say, you know, I don't want you in my life.
But then that's not
That's what you
forgiveness.
choose, right?
No, but then that's not
But it
forgiveness.
is. But forgiveness doesn't mean you have to be friends and together with everybody. Forgiveness means you are letting go of making the person wrong, of holding on to what they did, of replaying the scenarios in your mind. Because in the end, Joe, it wears you down. It makes you angry and negative and sad and upset. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
very
understand where you're
healthy.
coming from.
It's very healthy. It's very healthy to set boundaries.
I don't know, she got froze off. I don't know what happened.
Oh, yep. Oh, we'll wait for her. Joe, your point is very well taken. You know, as I listen to Britta, and Britta, you back?
Am I back? Okay, I
Yeah.
saw myself
back.
the whole time.
Okay.
You
I
were
think
going
I
around
froze
in
for you
circles.
guys.
for
Yeah,
us.
well,
Okay,
we didn't
all right,
see you, so.
Yeah. You know, Joe, I really understand where you're coming from, but you know, ultimately, you know, forgiveness is a really high form of letting yourself be the bigger person and being good to yourself. And to choose not to have people in your life, and to
Okay.
choose not to be in communication or in contact with people
Okay.
is actually you being good to yourself and setting healthy boundaries, and they are very necessary and appropriate. It
Okay.
has nothing to do with forgiveness or non-forgiveness.
All right. Let me just say this to you then. If this person, let's say, was I'm only hypothetically bringing this up now.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, so this person was in your life, a friend. Okay. And this person did something bad to you, whatever. All right. And this person, now you're angry. And you let this person know this under no uncertain terms that you're angry. So now this person would like you to forgive them because this person now wants to be back into your life. But 2 minutes ago says that you didn't have to have him back in your life.
No,
And you don't want the person back in your life because you feel deep down a distrust for this person. So how can you then have forgiveness? Forgiveness means that you'd say, okay, you're back in my life, and just the way it was before this incident happened. I kind of don't think so.
Yeah, see, I understand what you're saying,
But
right? I really, really do. But I do see the two as separate. I do see the two as separate, and it's because and this actually brings up a memory for me of something that happened in the not so far away past, where I had a very good friend of mine who I had known for many, 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 many years, and so this friend overstepped such lines and such boundaries that I
intentionally?
had to make a choice intentionally.
Okay.
Intentionally, yes. And so I had to make a choice for myself. Would I want this person back in my life? Or was I going to say, I see you around, I'm going to be happy to see you? And that's the way it is now. I see this person, we're saying hello, all is well,
And
I'm
you've
happy.
forgiven.
And
I've
you didn't
forgiven.
forgive her then.
And I
You didn't
let
forgive
go.
this
Yeah.
he or she. Am I right?
I did. No, I really, I promise you, I forgave. And I feel very clear and very, happy when this person is doing well, and when I see this person around. But at the same time, I choose not to have this person back in my life, because everybody is at different levels at different times. And that's okay, right? But there are certain awarenesses of what we allow ourselves to do. And so when somebody is not aware of what they're allowing themselves to do and what they're not allowing themselves to do, that is something that we want to be aware of. That's why we don't forget and we learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
Right? And forgiveness is something that is very separate from the boundaries and the values that we hold for the people that we hold close in our inner circle. Right?
No, I
You know
okay.
what I
I
mean?
mean, I think, well, I'll tell you the truth, Britta, and I don't mean this in any disrespecting way. But I think you and I live in two different worlds. I mean, I think you're in A world and I'm in B world because I don't look at that a certain way. I don't, I can't wrap myself around that.
Joe,
I'm sorry,
Joe,
I'm sorry.
I totally hear what you're saying. And I think for a lot of people, a lot of these conversations are outside of their comfort. and really foreign. Forgiveness for some people is a foreign thing. And I don't know if you'd agree with me, Britta, not, but this goes back to the tapes that are replayed in our minds. And it really takes the stopping the tapes and rewiring and retaping them.
Yes.
And you know, something that I always do after we do a spreecast with Britta in the next couple of days is I go back and I listen to it again, especially when I don't understand it or I can't grasp it. And the second time around, I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, I think I can do that. I understand what she said. I don't know if that'll be helpful for you, Joe.
Well, you see, I look at it this way with things. Let's say, for instance, for point of discussion, say you did something to me and I was upset with you. Now, there's certain things, of course, that I could forgive you on. Say, well, okay, Britta, you know, okay, let bygones be bygones. Let's forget about it and we'll start anew and so forth and so on, okay? Wonderful. But now, if you did something and it affected my child, or if I did something and it affected your child and stuff, I think it then puts us into a different category. I don't think the forgiveness comes that easy. I mean, unless you're an exceptional person, and there are exceptions to the rule. Unfortunately, I don't think I fall in that category. I mean, I guess I'm a square peg in a round hole compared to this new world. You know, I'm old timer. I really am. I mean, when your own nephew, and then you know you're old. When your own nephew says to you, well, you know, Uncle Joe, you really come from the old school. You don't understand. Then I say, Jesus, I must be old. You know? But you understand what I'm saying. I think
I do.
it's
I
very
really, really do.
difficult to forgive people if they did something to your loved ones intentionally.
Yes.
Not by accident,
Absolutely.
but intentionally. And I think that's extreme.
You know, and
At least
that's
for me,
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
And you know
And
what?
it is, and it's a very high form to aspire to, because, you know, and
you
I'm
know
not a
what?
religious, but I do want to use Jesus as an example. You know, Jesus, as he was being nailed to the cross, said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
I realize
Right?
that.
Yes.
You know, my mother
Yes. And
had a thing where this woman was a saint, believe me, and I think you're going to end up being a saint if you truly believe what you say. You're going to be in sainthood. But my mother was the type was that, you know, she would say, well, you know, they have to answer to their maker. And she wouldn't even say anything bad about Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, nobody. She says they have to answer to their maker. That was her whole answer to everything. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but that's her whole answer to everything. I would like to think that because she passed on, that she's, you know, about in there for sainthood. And if you are like what you say you are, then I guarantee you'll be ready when it's time for sainthood. At least I would think so. No, I don't know.
Joe,
if
thank you for being on.
I mean, I don't know if you want
Joe.
a pair of wings, but you know.
No, I already have my wings.
Okay. Good for you.
Joe, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
It
Joe.
was a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Meet me. We've met before. I've been on your show before.
Live on camera?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Really? When
Yes.
was this?
Do I have a forgetful face?
When was Joe on?
Well, about a couple months ago.
Really? Esther, when was Joe
In
on?
fact, I see you.
I don't remember.
I see you on Facebook all the time.
I know.
I
we
do
see
need
the
to hear it, yeah.
pictures, yes. I know, but live on camera? I don't
Yes.
remember being
Boy, how
live
easily
on
we
camera.
forget, don't we?
Oh.
I'm just giving you a hard time, but I was on the thing before.
before.
I really was. I was on the thing before.
Well, come back because
Come
because
back.
you know it's great to talk about these things, and I really love that you're being so honest, and so
Yes.
You see
I
that
would love for
picture
us to
behind me?
continue. So please come back
Do you- okay.
a little bit.
Next time, Ron,
Well, next time we're
I
So
on,
mean
I
Joe.
want to show you a
Joe.
picture behind me of a man that.
Okay,
okay,
sounds good.
Okay.
We're hitting up against the clock, but another great Spreecast.
yes,
And if you guys want to see some of the past ones, because like I said, it's each week we have a topic that we dive into, but all of these topics somehow end up relating to each other. So if you go to my Spreecast page, it's all over there. Britta, thank you for another great Spreecast, and we had a great audience. Everyone was
oh,
very awesome. Nice to meet Marcel and Joe. Joe's
right,
on
and
here a lot, actually.
yes, I've seen the
Mm-hmm.
picture many times. Yes, and there's Danny. Hi, Danny. This is awesome. And it was great. So many people came on camera this time, right?
Yep, we love that.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. So great way to start your Monday. Thank you, Britta, for
Yes,
another
it's my
great
pleasure.
Spreecast.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And I do feel like I just want to complete for one more
Yes,
minute.
the thoughts.
So, if we really want to get very serious about forgiveness for ourselves, for our own good, don't rush it. If there's somebody in your life that you maybe are not ready to forgive yet, right? Don't rush yourself.
Good
Keep
point.
resonating with it, and you can even communicate this to this person. You can even say to this person, I need time. I need time. Right? There's nothing wrong with saying I need time. So, this is not meant to be a rush. This is not meant to be the drop of the head. Now it has to happen. It's a process, and the deeper you go, the more you want to, the more you set the intention, and the deeper you dig, the more you will unravel things for yourself naturally. So take the time with it. Right? Lovely Esther. You're reading right now?
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second. No, I can read and talk at the same time, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Hello, Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Have to
Oh,
give a shout out to Brazil. All right, so we'll see you next Monday. My thoughts are let's talk about boundaries next week.
Ooh, very good. Let's.
Okay,
Boundaries
sounds
it
good.
is. Yes.
Okay.
Until next Monday at 7. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Esther.